Namaste students. Kushra Vidya. I, JV and Dr. Vityanikula, Assistant Professor, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In today's session, we will be going to discuss xenobiotic compounds, okay, from the subject Environmental and Biotechnology. So when we talk about xenobiotics, it is the foreign chemical substances found within the within an organism that is not normally or naturally produced by or expected to be present within. Okay. It can also covers a substance that are present in much more higher concentration than that of the usual amount. Okay. So specifically, drugs such as antibiotics are xenobiotics in humans because the human body does not produce it by themselves, nor it is already a part of food, normal food. Okay. So the term xenobiotic is derived from the Greek word. Okay. Genos means foreigner or a strange. Okay. Bios means life. Okay. So they do not occur in nature as they are foreign to the biosphere. Okay. So here we can say the artificial compounds such as the chemicals, industries, mainly the pesticides. Okay. We can say it is like pesticides or the chemicals from industry mainly, or the fungicides which is used in the agriculture, pharma industries, and the hospital waste or animal waste which are we come across that. Okay. So it can be exogenous and endogenous. Exogenous, we can say it is like drugs, food additives, pollutants, then insecticide, cancer causing agents. Okay. Endogenous, they like bilirubin, bile, steroids. Okay. Sources from the, it can be from atmosphere like pesticide, dimethoate, uh, then chemicals, quinine, organophos chemicals or organochlorine chemicals, or like carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, radiations or from the cosmic rays. Okay, UV radiation or toxic food like or pesticides, herbicides, or a growth hormone regulators like growth hormones which cause like lead to infertility or infections. Okay. Food additives which are used for the artificial sweeteners, which increases the high rate of risk of cancer or other long-term effects. Then hormonal imbalance or malabsorption syndromes, or the heavy metals in water like arsenic. Uh, okay, which causes like different illness in human. Then all other drugs which are not xenobiotic but drugs such as antibiotics, okay, are harmful to human. Effects like hypersensitive, which cause undesirable reactions produced by the normal uh, in human beings, or it affects the immune system of the human, or at or autoimmunity and abnormal immune response to an organism against lives on the its own cells or tissues also, like rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. So xenobiotic and human immunity systems may, like we can say, the xenobiotic may interact with cellular immune system and result in altering the immune status. Okay, which may lead to the immunotoxicity. So xenobiotic as it enters into the body in ingestion or through inhaling or through dermal penetration. Okay. So once it absorbed in the bloodstream, maybe through it may through ingestion or by inhaling or through the dermal or skin surface. Okay. So the absorption in blood streams and distribution to the body and different organs. So hence it's stored or toxic action may be resulting the pharmacological cellular injury or immunological or causing cancer or a biotransformation conjugation or through excretion to some extent, okay, or otherwise it gets stored in the body, okay. So entry of a xenobiotic into a cell is like by simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, or active transport or endocytosis. Okay. So simple diffusion here, the lipophilic substance depend on the concentration gradient. Okay. So liver freely permeable or like a big pores in a cell membrane, mostly affected in poisonings. Okay. Here the facilitated diffusion may be transporter here and active transport through primary and secondary mode and endocytosis like then the xenobiotic structures similar to with the physiological substance can utilize all the available transport system. Okay. Then it can be like the detoxification process can take place in two phases, like phase one where xenobiotic are or the waste metabolites in the diet are peripheral circulation or reduced reduction may take place, oxidation, hydroxylation or hydrolysis, okay, of the primary metabolite, which may be like in the second phase maybe go undergo conjugation, sulfation or methylation or which converts into a secondary metabolite of the suitable for excretion. Okay. So the biotransformation is the conversion of lipophilic to water-soluble chemical catalyzed by enzymes in the liver and other tissues. Okay. So this process takes place in mainly in the liver for catalyzing with the help of certain enzymes. Okay. So the biotransformation is the metabolite modification of a molecular structure of the compound, okay, resulting in the loss or alternation of some of the characteristic property of the original compound. Okay. So it may affect the solubility, mobility, and toxicity of the organic compounds. Okay. So next, when we see the in case of like biotransformation lessens the toxicity of xenobiotics, then it is like through any of the following. It can go like through oxidation or reduction or hydrolysis. Okay. So oxidation of xenobiotic are carried out by the xenobiotic transforming enzymes, which plays an important role in the solubility and mobility of the toxin producing molecules in the liver. Okay. So oxidation carried out by a xenobiotic transforming enzymes, okay, which plays an important role. Here the molecule get converted into like mainly in the liver, okay. So the oxidation of through the monooxygenase or cytochrome 450 monooxygenase, okay. So many reactions of cytochrome 450 monooxygenase involve in addition of a hydroxyl group to the xenobiotics and giving rise to the like hydroxylation. Okay. Certain xenobiotics contain aldehyde, ketones, disulfide, okay, cunine group azo group, nitro group, or are often reduced enzymatically or non-enzymatically on interaction with some reducing agent. Okay. So reduction, it is less common and less important than oxidation. Okay. Like xenobiotic lead, it is reduced in the intestine microflora, like parabens in the liver and skin, arsenic liver intestine microflora. So uh, some of the xenobiotic was hydrolyzed, done by the hydrolytic enzymes like esterase, peptidase, okay, in the liver, tissue, liver, endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, aspirin in the presence of esterase convert into salicylic acid and acetic acid. Okay. So phase one, phase two, like phase one converts to that of the derivative conjugates, derivatives to that of the conjugate, like aspirin converts into the derivative salicylic acid, and that converts into that of the conjugation, or conjugation, it converts into that of the metabolic anabolic activity here. So it in the phase two, it converts to that of the conjugate, and okay. So the end product found from the phase one reaction is combined with some of the highly water soluble endogenous metabolites. Okay, so such as sulfate, glycine, and which renders the even more the water soluble, and eventually the excretion through a urine or a bile. Okay, so the conjugation means the chemical combination of one compound with another. Okay, so sulfate, glycine, glucuronic acid, glutathione. Okay. So primarily active transport need energy in the form of like ATP hydrolysis. The special ATP synthesis, ATP is called ABC or ATP binding cascades, okay, localized in the cell membrane or trans-expose the xenobiotics from cell to ECF, okay. So the multi-drugs resistance proteins in the increase the expression, which cause the resistance towards the medicines. Okay. So xenobiotic, xenobiotic in the presence of like cytochrome 450 monooxygenase reactive metabolites forms covalent binding in the macromolecules, which cause the cell injury here, or mutation, or antibody production, or a cell injury, or non-toxic converted into non-toxic metabolite sometimes. Okay. So the effect of xenobiotic on fish tissue, we can say the morphological studies emphasize has been placed on two types like contaminants like petroleum hydrocarbons and uh, chlorobiphenyls. Okay, so for example, the xenobiotic found in the marine environments. So it gets affecting the marine or the aquatic fishes. Okay, so impact of this contaminant on the olfactory organs, liver, lens, intestine from several species of the fishes. The morphological aspect of the damaging the olfactory organs. of the fish exposed to the petroleum hydrocarbon includes the hyperflaps or the annotation of the chemosensory cilia. Okay. In the liver of the fish exposed to the chlorobiphenyl, one of the most evident cellular abnormal or was the whole of the smooth and it damaged the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. The endoplasmic reticulum appear as a proliferated or cystine were dilated here. Okay. So the change in the amount of the lipid stored in the hepatocyst or observed in the fish exposed to the petroleum or hydrocarbons. Okay. It affects the eye tissues also. Okay. So, xenobiotics also disrupt the reproductive endocrine systems and they directly affect the gamete development or the viability as a result of cytotoxicity or altering the hormonal environment of during the gamete development. Okay. So, in sense, we can see xenobiotics are the compounds that are found in the living organism, but which are foreign to that organism in the sense that it does not normally produced by the compound or a consumer it as a part of its diet. Okay? Or for example, a human, most of us take drugs, xenobiotics since we don't produce it naturally or we consume it in our normal diet. Okay? Which can be as a substance present in we are taking higher than that of the normal concentration. Okay. So mainly that sources are oil, gas industry, refineries, chloride, benzenes, petroleum products, plastic industries, petrochemical industries, pesticides, paints, and other electronics, textile, pulps, water, paper, pharmaceutical industries, and uh, food preservation. Okay. Thank you. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Okay. So hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any queries, please mention in the inbox. I will resolve it in the problem solving session. Thank you. Namaste.